Hi, everyone. Welcome back to week 2 of hybrid learning. It was awesome to meet everybody last week, and I hope you all had a great weekend. So, one of the things that we noticed last week was that many of you were emailing us, and we were thrilled. We thought this is just fantastic. The sixth graders know how to find their teacher's email, you know how to ask your questions. We were really, really super impressed. But we also thought it might be really important to have a lesson on email etiquette. Etiquette's kind of a fancy word, and it is how you behave, your manners. And email etiquette is specific for email. What should an email look like? What should it sound like? How long should it be? And that there's kind of a formula that we think if you learn it, it's going to be something that you might be able to use throughout your educational career. So we thought this would be an important place to start right as you're beginning your middle school. And we're really excited to teach you that. So that's going to be part of the first half of the week, certainly today. We're also going to get started a little bit today on our independent writing projects, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. So, those of you who are in hybrid, you want to make sure you listen to the entire video and listen to the instructions and do the assignment. And then those of you who are in person, who I'll be telling, you're going to just start on Wednesday where it says Wednesday's work. That's where you'll start watching the video. And that is for Wednesday when you're not in class. Okay, everybody, that is it. And I am so excited for the week. I hope you are too. Thanks, writers. Bye. We're going to get started. You're going to go into Google Classroom and you're going to pull up the presentation is Texting Ruining Our Writing. And before you get started on the article, I want you to think about this before you read. This is what I think, and I want you to fill in this box that says, this is what I think before reading the article. And then you are going to read the article, is Texting Ruining Our Writing. And you are going to, if you want audio support, you can press right here where you see that little icon. And you can hear Dr. Green. She's our audio support on this article. And then you are going to, and in addition, if you'd like to read the Spanish version, you can read the Spanish version as well. And then what I want you to do is after the article, I want you to think, well, now what do I think? Having listened and read both sides. And the reason why we picked this article is we think it really lends itself to what we're talking about today, which is going to be email etiquette. And so many people think that the environmental print, that's a word used to describe the things that you read in your environment, has changed so much that it has hindered writing. So I'm just so curious what you think. Okay, so that is part 1. Next thing we're going to do is talk specifically about email etiquette. A noun, and it is described as the customary code of polite behavior in society or among members of a particular profession or group. Are essential questions, and these are the questions that you want to be able to answer moving forward at the end of the presentation. What is email etiquette, and how can using email etiquette help a student succeed? And so whenever you are writing anything, your message, audience, and purpose are your 3 focal points. You want to make sure your message is clear. You know exactly who you are addressing and the tone that you should take with the audience, and that your purpose is very clear. So I'm going to read you this first student email, number 1. And right away, it's got those capital letters, all caps, which means the student is shouting. Tell me why my grade is low on the essay. I really like your class because you're funny. Well, let me know because I'm really good student and need an A in your class. Now, this is a real email that was received by one of our teachers. And when I look at this and I think of the message and the audience and the purpose, the message is very unclear to me because I don't know if the message is this student likes the class, this student wants an A, this student is angry about their grade on the test. It's a little confusing. And then the audience, typically you wouldn't be shouting at an adult. So I wouldn't automatically think this was to an adult, but because it says I like your class, I'm assuming this is to a teacher. The purpose here, again, I can infer the purpose, but it's not really clear. Is the purpose to make sure the student gets an A? Is the purpose for him to flatter the teacher by saying he likes the teacher? Is the purpose for him to understand why he got a low grade on the test? So he has a few purposes, and those could get really muddled up for me. Now, I want you to read, before we move on, I want you to write at least 3 problems you see with this student's email to the left. And then we're going to go on to the second student email. And what I want you to do is read that email and see if you can identify the message, the audience, and the purpose. And then I want you to write at least 3 positive things you notice about student number 2's email. And now here's another example, and it's student number 3. Oh, sorry, that one was student 2. Student 3. And I want you to really focus on, well, what are 3 positive things that I notice? And now we're going to go back to that essential question. What is email etiquette? And what might that mean to you if you had to put that into your own words? If you know etiquette is good behavior, you know email or a code of politeness, and you know that email is a form of communication, what might email etiquette be? I want you to write in your best answer. And then this is probably the most important. How can using this email etiquette help you become a better student or help a student succeed? And that is how I want you to end this section. Okay, thank you. So I don't want to say that we saved the best for last, but I might have saved the best for last. So I just want to talk to you briefly about the writing project. And there are some really important reasons why we are doing a writing project. The first is that we like to give you voice and choice as much as possible. We think it's really important that you get to own some of the things that you write about and learn about. Secondly, writers write for authentic purposes. That is a really key component to being a writer. You write because you want to write about something. And lastly, writing over a period of time and developing your writing and revising it and making it clear and coherent is a really important goal for you as a writer. So specifically, we are going to have 4 independent writing projects this year. Each one is going to be 5% of your grade. You may choose any genre of writing. You may choose how to publish your writing. You could do a website. You could do Google Slides, a brochure, paper. I have thousands of technologies you can use. You will fill out the Google Form contract. And once you commit to a project, you cannot change it without a teacher conference. So the project is due November 20th, and you will have one formal teacher review the week of October 12th, and you'll have one formal peer review the week of November 12th. And then on the 20th, your project is due, and then we'll have writing celebrations. So this is the contract, and if you click on this link, it's going to take you to a Google form. You put your first name, your last name, the hour you have class, which hybrid you're in, and then here you're going to fill in, well, what is your independent writing project? And then how do you plan on presenting? Now, I left this blank because maybe you're just not sure. And then I understand the project is due November 20th, and my project will be my work only. And that is a real commitment. I want it to be your work, not your parents, not your friends, your work. And then next, we just thought of some fun ideas. Now, you do not have to do any of these. You can pick your own, but this website is kind of fun. Maybe you do some short stories. And if you click on it, they have a 6th grade one. And let's say you want to do a fantasy story. You would go to the 4th through 6th grade. You would put your name. Sorry. Let's just put Julie. And then what's kind of fun is it does a spin. And then you can write a story. Write a first-person story about a charming spellcaster whose magical shield blocks every weapon. So that might be a really fun activity to do. And if you do that, I want you to write 10 stories minimum. Here's an oddball holiday activity where you choose a quirky holiday. It doesn't have to be the holiday. It doesn't have to be the holiday of the day. Any quirky day will work. Plan a celebration, create a flyer, and add a commercial, create a party plan, and what will happen at this celebration. So that might be a fun thing. This came out of discussions last week. Maybe you create a brochure of the ultimate fantasy football team, and you include background information and statistics on each player. This is, you might want to write a research paper on leaders who changed the world. We have 2 links of ideas, but you can also pick someone who is not on the list who is changing the world if you want to do that. You might create a travel brochure, great bike trails in the area, great parks to visit during COVID, great outdoor restaurants, a dream vacation. You could do a book review, create a website and do movie trailers with book reviews. And then there's also this idea of a writer's contest. And I'm going to get more details as those come out. But if you are someone who likes to participate in writing contests and you want to do that, I can find details on that. And then lastly, you decide. Maybe none of those ideas worked for you and you have another project that you are thinking of, and that is fine with me. Again, you are the writer. Okay, thanks, kids. Bye. Okay, so your job today is to pick one of the scenarios below and write an email on slide 12 that demonstrates your understanding of email etiquette. So your choices are: you can email a teacher about a missing assignment, email your band teacher about making up a missed lesson, email a teacher about redoing a test or assignment, email a teacher about getting homework ahead of time due to going on a vacation or being absent, email a teacher with a question about an assignment. So what to include in your email? We'd like to see a correct address, A clear subject line. Address the teacher appropriately. So, Dear Mrs. Reed, capital M, capital R, or Dear Dr. Green, capital D, capital G. Write what hour you have that teacher's class. Write if you are a hybrid A or B student. Use proper punctuation. Stick to the point. Be respectful. And have a closing. Thank you and your name. Now, just a quick tip, you only capitalize the first word in a closing. A lot of people make this mistake, so I don't want you to. So if you can see that the Y in yours is capitalized, but the S in sincerely is not, or the T in thank you, in thank, but the Y in you is not. So you only capitalize the first word in the closing if you have two words. If you only have one word, like sincerely, then you just capitalize that and you put a comma. Okay, so this is slide 12. You're going to put your address up here, who you're writing it to. You're going to put a clear subject, and then you're going to start composing your email. So with the goals here, we're looking for audience awareness, excellent and appropriate audience awareness. That means you understand that you are writing a teacher, and that it's not a buddy. So your tone will be very different. And also that your ideas were expressed in a clear and organized fashion. It would be easy for any reader to figure out what this letter or note, email in this case, is about. Okay, writers, well, that is it for the week for the Wednesday work. All right, I will look forward to seeing you again in person. Bye-bye.